Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for Vauxhall Astra, and it's the 1.9 diesel automatic, and it's the design model. This particular car is registered KW56ZGA, and mileage at the start of the road test is 85,665 miles. Reason for doing the road test is basically just so any prospective buyer actually gets to see the very car we're advertising in operation. That way, if there's any issues on the car, we can and we will relay them back to you. It's the very point of doing the videos, so it is kind of critical in that sense. It's also done on the same very quiet country roads very close to our premises. We're in this lovely part of Gloucestershire, literally just 2 or 3 minutes on the motorway, although you'd never believe there was a motorway even close. But it does make for a rather relaxed test drive. So coming to the car itself, just a very, very brief background to the vehicle. I mean, our business is predominantly selling Honda and Lexus cars, and obviously every now and again we'll take a part exchange in, and obviously this one is a part exchange. The couple bought a Lexus from me. They've looked after this car really well. Mechanically, it's got a lovely service history and a very good MOT on the car currently as well. Going through the mechanical parts one by one, engine starts absolutely instantly, settles to a very smooth, completely even idle, and it pulls really, really impressively. Actually, I've got to be honest with you, I've not driven one with an automatic before, but it's got real guts to it. It absolutely picks up speed really, really well. There's no warning lights on the car at all, relating to the engine or any other part of the car. And I have driven this car this morning, actually, just because I had to go somewhere, so I thought I'd give it a good run for a good 2 hours, actually, and it drives really, really well. The engine is very, very impressive. Engine obviously goes through into the 6-speed automatic gearbox, which is very, very good. What I tend to look for on any test drive, regardless of manufacturer or reputation of that manufacturer, is just check with the gearbox for any kind of obvious signs of wear, and that'll be notably on automatics is, you know, when you're stationary, just pop them into drive and then back into reverse, just see if there's any delays in engagement, you know, when hot and cold, by the way, you know, particularly when cold as well. But there's nothing on this at all. You know, they engage very smoothly, very slickly. All the gear changes are very, very well done, very smooth indeed. So the gearbox is operating absolutely perfectly. Steering on the car, nicely weighted, quite accurate. Track's absolutely dead straight. There's no sort of vibrations up to the legal limit, the speeds at which I'm allowed to drive. Feels very positive. I can't feel any obvious wear in it at all. You know, it just feels as though the car, as it has been sort of very well looked after and kept away from banging into curbs and whatnot. The suspension of the vehicle, again, what I'm looking for on these road tests is just any signs basically of any wear underneath the vehicle, because obviously when you're going along the road, when it hits a bump, you'll hear it hitting a bump, quite rightly, but what I'm looking for is any kind of secondary noises coming up through. It's any little metallic sort of chatterings or knocks coming from underneath, and that's normally quite innocent stuff, and quite easily fixed, and that's things like sort of these little drop links, anti-roll bar links, where the rubber bushes perish and they just chatter away, and they can be quite inexpensively fixed. It can be more serious stuff, you know, suspension struts, coils, that kind of thing, or the suspension arms themselves. But this one, very, very smooth indeed. I've heard nothing untoward, and all the time I've been driving it, it feels very taut, very tight, rides very comfortably actually. I've not driven one of these in a long, long time. But it's actually a very comfortable car to drive around in, and very quiet as well, by the way. But yeah, it just feels really, really solid, this car. The brakes on the car, I gave them a really good shove on the road test, but the brake pedal itself is instant. It grabs really nicely without being over grabby. And what I'm looking for when I hit the brakes is any kind of signs of sort of pulsing on the brake pedal or vibrations, any kind of grinding noises, that kind of thing. And also making sure when you hit the brakes, the front of the bonnet goes down straight. It doesn't sort of pull left, right, or otherwise, you know, which would be an imbalance in the braking system. But again, all in very, very fine fettle on this car. Looking around inside the vehicle, it's actually just going to go off to have the lightest of cleans. It's obviously one of the cheaper cars in our stock. We don't normally sort of do full valets on the trade cars, but to be fair, it doesn't need a lot. It's very, very clean in here. No buzzers, no creaks, no rattles on the interior. All feels very, very solid indeed. Everything I pressed has worked absolutely perfectly. This one has this little gizmo up here which the lady had fitted. Her husband tried to explaining it to me, but I'm a bit of a technophobe. I believe it's a Bluetooth system for the car. So it's there and it seems to be working, but obviously I can't particularly vouch for it. But the dashboard itself, simplicity itself to use, very effective and efficient in the way it sort of gets all the information back to you. All the dials, all the information, working exactly as they should. I'm going to swing around here. But it really does pick up speed very, very nicely indeed. You only really notice a diesel, particularly at lower speeds, because you naturally get more noise from them. But up and running, it's it's very smooth and quiet indeed. On an absolutely foul day as it is today. Coming back to the car, as I said at the start of the video, the point of the video is just to show you it's in operation, just to and to feedback any issues there might be. But there's nothing on it. It really, really does drive very nicely indeed. Having said that, if I've missed something, please don't hesitate, give us a call and we'll happily answer any questions you might have.